already passed since the release of the new episode, and I'm so hyped about episode 70. It should turn out incredible, and perhaps the best in the entire history of the series. And today, we'll look at interesting leaked frames that is now spreading across the internet. And we'll also talk about the release date of episode 70. And I assure you that it won't be long at all because Dafook is now working in accelerated mode. But before we get into all this, don't forget that I have a new Discord server. And there you will find the latest news on Skibidi Toilet and Skibidi Multiverse. So I'm waiting for you there. The link will be in the description under this video. Hello friends, you're on the channel. Subscribe to the channel and press the like button under the video to speed up the release of the next video. And let's go. Part 2 of episode 69 turned out to be amazing. And I noticed that Dafook began to show us his cards. And now we are all hype over episode 70. And I noticed that he began to work a lot, and at the moment he is online and has already been on SFM for 14 hours. It means that he is working on the release of a new episode, and perhaps a new episode will be released soon. But we will talk about this not much later. Let's look at the leaked frame that began to appear on YouTube. In this frame, we see Plunger Cameraman and his big bro Titan Cameraman, and we see that there is destruction everywhere. And it all seems to be true, but in fact it is fake, since there are some details that different from the original. Firstly, we can notice that Plunger Cameraman has large mechanical legs, although we saw that he had other legs in part 4 of episode 67. It's also a fun fact that Titan Cameraman's arm grew back, which he lost after the explosion in episode 65, but then he lent a hand in a Skibidi Toilet in episode 67, but then lost it again. And here we see that he has 2 arms. Although we did not see reinforcements bring him an arm, he only received a jetpack and flew away. And also the terrain here is completely different from the one we saw in episode 69. You might think that this is exactly the place where they flew, and where the Gmail Titan is located, but in fact this is nonsense. And I also don't know where exactly this leaked frame came from, but I saw this frame in many YouTube videos, but in any case it's fake. And now let's move on to the second and more interesting leaked frame. This leaked frame is already very interesting, and at first glance I would even say that this is the original, and now let's figure it out. The quality is almost the same as that of the Dafook boom has, but the main detail is that it is almost the same, but not the same. If you look at Large TV Man and the Giga Chad with a gun, then there are almost no differences, but this cameraman on the right already has a difference. He has the same cloak and blue tie in the original, but in fact there is no button on the cloak in the original, and it is more worn out. But in the leaked frame there are buttons and the cloak looks newer. It seems that before entering the laboratory, this cameraman was in a local clothing store and bought this cloak for himself. And also the iron fact is that now the agents do not have time to just stand like in a leaked frame. It was possible to stand in front of the opening of the doors to the laboratory, but at the end of episode 69, we saw that the doors had already opened and the agents began to fight with the Skibidi Toilets, and now only forward and without retreating. They must help the squad that is inside. But inside the laboratory, our beloved Michael Jackson is waiting for them, who is damn strong, since he easily destroyed the doors and thereby killed 2 speakermen. And it seems to me that Michael will be killed by this Giga Chad with a huge cannon. And maybe that we will see a lot of deaths from agents and Skibidi Toilets, since there are a lot of strong toilets in this laboratory. But what about this leaked frame? And it turns out that this is also a fake. And I searched for a long time for this leaked frame on YouTube and where it came from, and I didn't find anything. But subscribers told me that this was a leaked frame from the Spider Run Discord, and he's great that he made such a high-quality leaked frame. But real Skibidi fans like me immediately realized that it was a fake. But not much later, the admin wrote that it was a fake, so we sorted it out. Now let's move on to the release date of the new episode, but before we get into all this, I'll tell you a few of my options for how the new episode will begin. And we have 3 options. The first option, and it is more likely that we will see a continuation of how the Alliance enters the laboratory and makes their way to the bottom of the laboratory to help Plunger Cameraman and the others. The second option is that we will see how Plunger Cameraman and the others will enter this door and look for the Skibidi scientist. And perhaps they will find him and kill him, or perhaps he will run away as always. And the third option is that there will be a fight between the Titans and Gmail Titan, since in episode 69 the Titans flew away somewhere. And this is obvious that they flew into the laboratory since there is another entrance. And it was there that Gmail Titan flew in part 3 of episode 67. And when the Titans fly there, they will destroy absolutely everyone, and perhaps they will kill Gmail forever and no more fakes. Of course, these are just theories, and it's possible that it will be different, but what I can say is that a very hot episode awaits us. Anyway, let's move on to the release date of episode 70. Dafook has been working at SFM for 15 hours already, and there are so many options why he works so much. No one expected that part 2 of episode 69 would be released before the new year, and Dafook decided to please us with such a gift for the new year. But overall, this episode was short, and I would say that Dafuk did it quite quickly. And perhaps he wanted to take a day off for the new year. Then he added new scenes in episode 69, but in fact there was also not as much work as on the full episode. And it is possible that he only started making a new episode a few days ago. And since episode 70 should be very important, and there will also be a lot of battles. And this means that there are already 10 or more days need to create such large-scale episodes. And it seems to me that we will see a new episode already next week. And perhaps we will get leaks in 2 or 3 days. But perhaps all this time Dafuk has been working hard on a new episode and it will be released tomorrow. But most of all, I just want it to be like this, and I really hope that it will be like this. But I know that Dafuk is always trying to make everything perfect, and he will not rush with the release date. He will try to work it out every detail and moment. So probably a new episode will be released next week. But who knows? If some news or leaks appears, I will make a video about it or write in my Discord, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and join my Discord. And together, we will wait for the new episode. And you were on the channel